Hi, this is Sanjana from Mockat, and today is the first question that I'm answering in our new Ask Us Anything series, where I'll try to answer any and every doubt that you have beyond the prep, anything about MBA, about IIMs, other B schools. And today we're starting with the big daddy of all questions. How do I get into an IIM or other top B school? Now, when it comes to doing an MBA, there are over 5,000 B schools in India, so you can definitely pursue an MBA provided you finished your undergrad. But generally, when we are considering doing an MBA, we will be looking at the top B schools. And these top B schools will include the IIMs, XLRI, SPJ, and FMS, and so many more. If you want to get an understanding of these B schools, you can just go to mockat.com, click on Info Zone and Top Business Schools. And what you have here is all of the B schools that we think are the best. And this is typically based on what the corporate world thinks, what the process is like, the culture, placements, and so on. So we've not ranked them, but here you have the A++ B schools, which are the best of the best, and then the next set, and so on. So how do we get into these top B schools? Typically, there will be an initial shortlisting process followed by a final selection process. And the shortlisting process will usually include a national level entrance exam such as CAT, XAT, and so on. And the reason for this is the top B schools will want you to get through an exam which is a little bit on the tougher side. And that's why corporates are also more keen to recruit from these B schools as opposed to if you've gotten to the college maybe just based on marks or maybe a relatively easier or a state level exam. So the majority of the top 50 odd B schools where you have 100% placements and an average salary of anywhere around 10-12 lakhs all the way to maybe 30 to 34, 35 lakhs of an average starting salary, majority of them will be having a national level entrance exam such as CAT. But that's one part of it. Like I said, there's an initial shortlisting, and then after that, if you have cleared the cutoffs, you will be called for the final selection. So now let's look at what is it that the IIMs consider specifically. And this is something which will also be true for a lot of the top B schools. Now, for you to be part of their shortlisting process, you need to first achieve a minimum in your overall CAT percentile as well as your individual sectional percentile. At the time that I'm recording this, 20 out of the 21 IIMs actually have a sectional cutoff as well. There's one IIM which doesn't. I have shot a much longer video about this where I've gone into this in detail. So I'll put that up also for you and we'll put it in the description and the first pinned comment. If you want to understand this process in detail and you want to know more about each and every step, you can watch that video after this. But the main thing, once you've cleared the overall and the sectional cutoffs, is going to be your CAT exam score. Along with your CAT exam score, many of the IIMs will look at certain other parameters such as your academics, which usually involves your 10th and 12th score as well as your college score, your work experience, which again is typically considered up to 4 years. For IIMs, there is no minimum. For the regular PGP, you can be a fresher. I was a fresher when I got through IIM Lucknow. And typically, there's no upper cutoff on the work experience either, but generally the marks are given for up to 4 years. And they'll also probably look at diversity. So that could be academic diversity, being a non-engineer or non-science grad, and gender diversity, female or transgender, and you'll get points for that. Some institutes also consider specific certifications such as CA, and some will also look at your college ranking, like your NIRF ranking and so on. But the most important weightage is actually for your CAT score. So if you look at this, you can see that I have not even included IIM Mumbai out here, but more than 50% of the IIMs are considering only the CAT score to shortlist you. So this will be the CAP process. We'll be putting up a separate video explaining what are CAP IIMs. So definitely subscribe in case if you haven't, and watch out, that video will be coming up soon. But back to this, we can see that except for IIM Kozhikode and IIM Indore, every institute has at least a 50% weightage on your CAT score. And there are a lot of institutes where the weightage is 100%. So this becomes the single most important thing. Now, once the specific IIMs have looked at your CAT score or your composite score, which is your CAT score plus, some weightage of all of those other parameters or some of them, if you are in the, number of people that they want to call. So say, for example, if an institute has 500 seats and they want to call 2,500 people for the interview. If you are in that top 2,500, then you will be called for the selection process. Of course, I'm simplifying here. There are other things such as, your category and all which go into it, but this is the general idea. And in your final selection process, just as your CAT score was the most important for your shortlisting, your personal interview score is going to be the most important for your final selection. And along with your personal interview, many of the IIMs will also have a written ability test or an analytical writing test, right? Your composite score or your CAT score is also something which is considered again in your final selection process. And some institutes could have something extra, such as extempore, which is there in IIM Indore, IIM Shillong, IIM Rohtak. Some of the institutes will not have a VAT. So there'll be certain variants. But here, your personal interview is something which is most important. And if you want to start preparing for the personal interview right away, while I'll be having a separate video where I'll be covering what are the main things which come up in the personal interview, we do have a playlist where we've gone through some of the common HR questions. So I'll link that for you as well in the description and the first pinned comment. So if you want, you can take a look and get an idea how to express yourself at your best and generally be considered a candidate that the IIMs will want to select. But this is how you get through an IIM. You need to take the CAT exam that year in November. The score is valid only for that year. And you need to clear the overall and the sectional cutoffs. You need to be selected with your CAT score or your composite score. And then in the final selection process, again, your score needs to be good enough for you to get through one or more IIMs. So this is the process. And like I said, your CAT score is the most important. So if you want to start your prep on that front and you want to prep with 99.9 plus percentilers, just sign into Mockat right away and start your prep today. All the best.